Right now, Bitcoin is blasting to new all-time highs, and something huge could potentially be brewing for altcoins as we're seeing Ethereum blast off. But the most important story today, by far, is the division being had with the Fed. Fed rate cuts have been one of the biggest catalysts that everybody's been waiting for a potential altcoin season and a risk on asset rally. That is stocks, that is Bitcoin and altcoins. And there could be a sign of something very shocking coming that could cause not only Ethereum to spike, but potentially a massive altcoin rally. And Bitcoin dominance could start falling on this news, but Bitcoin could continue to pump. There is a little bit to get through here. This is a huge story, and I'm really excited about it. Stick around to the end. Welcome back to the Crypto Report. Let's talk about the Fed, Bitcoin, the all-time highs, and what you need to know right now. I'm not a financial advisor, not financial advice, but we do crypto news every day here on this channel, the Crypto Report. I am Crypto Kip. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel. Look at how far we've come. These are your bear market lows, and up here, these are your bull market highs, guys. Okay? And we are right now approaching another high. But a lot of people, myself included, do not believe that the top is in. There is just too much bullish news going on, and we have not had the Fed yet cut these interest rates. But it could be coming very, very soon. In a 19-day window from now, 19 days, 21 hours from now, the next FOMC meeting occurs. And at the current time, there's only a 93% chance, that the Fed's going to do nothing, okay? That's a lot. There's a good chance that the Fed's not going to cut rates. There's only a 6.7% chance that the Fed is going to cut rates. Why am I talking about a Fed rate cut in Bitcoin? Hear me out, guys. When the Fed historically cuts rates, I've said it ad nauseum, you see a risk on asset rally. And as we're getting closer to those rate cuts, the markets have been rallying despite the global tensions that have been occurring, despite the tariff fears. Now, these tariff fears, specifically the Fed Chair Powell and the Federal Reserve, the Board of Governors, their fears over tariffs have been that they're going to continue to hurt inflation. That's why they haven't been cutting rates. Well, right now, even though there's a 93% chance that we're not going to get a Fed rate cut, there is a divide going on. I've been talking about these stories for a while. Here you go. You've got records on the stocks. You've got a lot of records happening. And look at this right now. Fed Waller calling for rate cuts again in July. And when you look at this story, guys, and I just peeked at it briefly in my live stream, but I really need to get into this story. It's so important. Some of his colleagues made varying comments on the same topic Thursday, illustrating opposing camps now forming inside the central bank on the tariffs, whether it's going to hurt inflation or not, whether the Fed should cut rates or not. There is now a question in the Fed itself of whether there is a game of politics being played. It's not political. It's not supposed to be political. Is it political? It's a very big question right now. But this divide going on in the Fed really does set the stage for something in my mind of a potential surprise rate cut. If the Federal Reserve chooses to cut the rates, it would be a huge upset. I mean, not in an upsetting bad way. It'd be shocking because there's a 93% chance right now we're not going to get a Fed rate cut. Well, you got some folks in the Fed calling for a rate cut. Are we going to see it? We've seen teasing stories about this before, but honestly, this very moment in time is very interesting. There are deals coming from these tariff negotiations. The economy is doing quite well right now. Inflation has been coming down. There is a bigger argument than ever before that we should be cutting rates. Europe's cutting rates. Canada's cutting rates. Everybody's cutting rates, but the U.S. has not cut rates yet. Is it political? Is it not? That really doesn't matter. What matters is if they're going to cut the rates or not. And as we see a divide happening right now in this Fed Board of Governors, you look at the minutes from the last meeting, there is a divide in the central bank. This is a very interesting time. Now, regardless, in 2026, there will be a new head of the Fed. Look at Fed rate cuts. Fed minutes underscore divisions over pace of interest rate cuts. We need more rate cuts. That's what people are saying. Most Fed officials see cuts coming, but opinions widely vary on how many. Rate cuts mean quantitative easing, okay? And if we get that, guys, you typically see a really, really nice pump for crypto, for risk on assets. It's what we've seen before. I'm not a financial advisor. It's not financial advice, guys. This is just looking at the past to try to get an idea of what could potentially happen in the future. And it's a big deal. That's why you see a lot of coins up today. SWI getting a very big pump. A lot of altcoins are moving up. And focusing in on the charts here, not just the Bitcoin chart. Here's your bear market lows. Here's your bull market highs. Honestly, guys, this is a good time to buy Bitcoin. You know, guys, you got to do your own due diligence. But I'll tell you, I like buying in the bear markets. We're certainly not in a bear market right now, but Bitcoin's at 113K. And I do believe it can go higher. I believe in a Bitcoin accumulation strategy like Michael Saylor. You know, if you believe that Bitcoin's going to go to $1 million one day in the future, well, then Bitcoin's at a relatively low price compared to what it might be in the future. But I think what a lot of people right now are wondering is just, is there more upside for Bitcoin and is there more upside for altcoins? Well, I would argue if Bitcoin's going to continue to rally, and this Fed rate cut would signal that it probably could, then you could potentially see that altcoin rally. Let me jump over to Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance is right now testing critical support. There is a chance that you do see it find a bounce here and basically continue to the upside. What would that look like for altcoins? Well, that would mean that Bitcoin is continuing to hold strength versus altcoins. Like, there's a couple ways this plays out. If Bitcoin rejects right now as it's getting new highs and we get a long squeeze and we come back down, Bitcoin dominance could shoot up because when Bitcoin falls, altcoins historically fall lower and quicker. If Bitcoin's pumping, there is a chance that altcoins continue to pump as well, and Bitcoin could break below this trend line. These are the ways that I think about the market. Right now for Ethereum, as the king of altcoins, if you will, it's the second largest crypto in the market. Right now, Ethereum is currently looking at a level of resistance at $2,850, almost $2,900. If we can break above that decisively, and there is a strong cup and handle pattern forming here, we could really see that altcoin season. We could see Bitcoin dominance break down. But if we see the bounce here, it's something that's possible, and you got to keep an eye on right now. I like to trade these markets. I like to trade the volatility. I've got affiliates in the link of this video. If you want to trade this volatility, you can check out some of those affiliates and some of those sign-up bonuses in the description of this video. Continue to do due diligence. Continue to stay updated with all the crypto news happening in this space by subscribing to this channel and turning on the notification bell, guys. There's a divide in the Fed, and we could get an emergency Fed rate cut. That is why it's in the title of this video. That is why I'm talking about it, because now more than ever, I do believe that something like that is possible. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel. DCA, hold on, my friends. I'll see you in the next one. 2 videos here if you want to check them out. I'll see you next time, folks. Peace.